Beautiful people, welcome back to yet another episode of the Ignite Your Purpose Show podcast vlog, where you know daily, and by now you damn well know if you've been listening to me spit for however long I've been doing it, it's a mix of the mental, physical, and spiritual knowledge. It's that mind, body, soul trifecta. Daily people, we're trying to be better than we were yesterday. We're going from that negative mind space to that positive mind space, and it comes through, you know what, it comes through everything. And that's why I speak about all these little nuances, all these different items. I put a twist on them where it's not about that external situation, it's about the internal reaction we have to it. And that comes up from just everyday stuff. For me today, I'm going to speak about this. I heard and read a study on kids' allowances in, the year 2019, 2020. And it made me think back to when I was a young buck back in the day, coming up in my immigrant family. And I can remember, the dollar bills, the $2 bills a week, the blue fin, that's a $5 bill in Canada. If you did so many numerous different things or put in more than enough work, right? You were asked to do extra stuff. Sometimes that never came. Sometimes, the $5 came with your allowance and the tooth fairy. You know how we do. They didn't have the money. It was what it was. You know what I mean? So we got through it. Now, speaking on today's little study, which blew my mind, the average, all right, you're talking, let me just see the notes. It's either 10 years of age or under, or 14 years of age or under. The average is $120 a month now. $120 a month. Now, I'm not that old, so inflation and all that jacking it up, from my $15 a month to $120 in like 20 years, possibly could call that inflation, the dollar not going as far. Or, and this is where, just like yesterday's episode, I spoke about being in the middle. I see some amazing positives and I see some amazing negatives. And in the study, 92% of the parents claimed that they were giving these kids these allowances to help them, understand what it is to earn money, what it is to save money, how it is to, find your way through expenses and, allocating this, that, and the next. And well, I want this, but I want this too. So I found in a way, the school systems definitely don't teach us nothing about balancing a checkbook, nothing about savings, nothing about taxes. So knowing that that's how the wealthy stay wealthy is by teaching their kids, about money, right? You read books by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. To me, those are brilliant, and I 100% agree with that. On the flip side of that, coming from that immigrant background, a lot of these parents also said, the kids aren't really doing anything. They're just putting this money into accounts so that when they turn a certain age, they have money. And I just wonder, and this is just me wondering, is that a disservice to the youth? If they're, and again, we don't know the actual figures and the actual numbers, but if the children aren't doing anything, just playing games, or, they're getting, a $2 bill for, brushing their teeth, or, going to bed on time, is that the true definition of what an allowance is? Earning an income for services rendered. Now, whatever that service is, right? But it has to bring value to someone else. That needs to be taught. So if we're not teaching our youth that, and we're just giving them money, are we then again doing a disservice to this generation, these generations that are already being, clumped in with the millennials and the generation do-nothings, and the generation, that don't know how to do this, that, and the next, the generation that can't afford housing, the generation that doesn't leave their family homes? Are we adding to that? But the most mind-boggling thing to me was just the amount of money that kids have these days, from their parents, and that goes into a whole tailspin too. Are we living above our means? What are we teaching kids? So that means, let's just say you come up at 14, 15-year-old now, and you're used to making more money in allowance than you might at a part-time job. You know what I mean? So if you come to a job, and I don't even know when minimum wage is, because I'm self-employed, been that way since, out the womb pretty much. But, if they come into a job and, they're getting paid minimum wage, are they even going to want to do it? Just these things that I think about people. And the reason I think about them is simply to say this: it all starts from within. It all starts with us. So whatever we're going to teach our kids, we're going to add that value to the world. So please, please look at it that way. And not even just teaching kids. I don't have kids. So I try and bring my value, A, by this show, and A, by little things like opening doors for people. Whatever you can do out there to bring value to others, in a positive way, and that'll come back to you tenfold. Something to think about: monetary value, where money's going. This whole system we're in right now could collapse, could blow the hell up, could be magical for the rest. These millennials might have the new way that we have never even thought about, and that might be the future too. On that note, I will leave you as I always do. We will talk to you tomorrow. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's be better, let's do better, and let's truly change the vibration of this planet by changing ourselves, and that starts with loving yourself and putting it out there. Peace, and we're going to talk to your ass tomorrow.